Ready? Okay, your warm up today. You are going to create an equation for this graph. Okay? I want the graph to include the following correct things: the correct y variable, the correct x variable, the correct slope. And when I say slope, I mean the number. You know how you can calculate the slope? Does that make sense? Okay. And then there's slope. I want to know the units are correct. Then you have the y-intercept. So I'm talking like the actual number here again. And the y-intercept units. And I want to make sure that your equation is in the format of y equals mx plus b, which is called slope-intercept form. So these are the 7 things that I want to make sure that you know how to do. Make sense? Okay. So here is your graph. We are going to do you know what my favorite example was today that I saw a student do? Was they did bench press. So they wanted to know how much weight you could lift in bench press, like with the bench press. So this was weight in pounds versus time in months. How many pounds do you think this person started being able to lift without any training? The bar, which is what, 45 pounds? I used to lift weights for track and field. As far as I know, I still hold the school record for discus at my old school.
How long ago was that?
A long time ago. Scotts Valley High School. Okay. How many months do we want this person to train for? 6 months. Sounds great. And how much weight can they lift after 6 months? 140. Sounds great. All right, right now, I want you to write the equation for this graph. Ready, set, go. All right, I'm going to go over the answers. I'm going to make sure that everyone's on the same page in terms of what I expect. And then what you are going to be doing is you are going to be creating a how-to for how to make an equation for a graph. I strongly prefer that each person make up their own individual interesting graph, but I don't care that much. Does that make sense? So my biggest thing is that I want to make sure that you can explain how to get each of these 7 things. So on here, I need to start with my y equals mx plus b equation. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Y equals mx plus b. If I remember correctly, my y variable is what I'm going to put for y. Variable is what comes in front of the units. And my stupid way of remembering what the units are is units are like U's and they go around the units. So units go around, U's go around the units, or in other words, there are parentheses around the units. So weight is my variable on the y-axis. And that's equal to my slope. But slope is rise over run. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to go slope equals rise over run. My rise I'm starting at 45 and I go up to 140. So my rise is not 140. My rise is 140 minus 45. And my run is how much it goes over. And that is going to be 6. So that means this goes up 95 and over 6. Then I need to make sure I have units for my slope. On the y-axis, that's my rise. So that's 140 pounds and 45 pounds. Therefore, my units are pounds. So this is 95 pounds is how far it went up. Divided by how far it went over, which is 6 months. Okay. So my slope then is 95 pounds over 6 months. So this is my slope. Then I'm going to do my x variable. My x variable is time because that's the variable on my x-axis. So times time plus my y-intercept. Y-intercept is where the line crashes into the y-axis, which is right here. So this is plus 45. And my units will be the units on my y-axis, which is pounds. Good? Okay. So you are going to create a graph and you're going to explain step by step how do you do this. And I'm going to just move my slope calculation out of the way here so you guys can see my list. These are the 7 things that I want to make sure are on your how-to. Y variable, x variable. How do you know which one it is? How do you find the slope? How do you find the units for the slope? How do you find the y-intercept? How do you find the units for the y-intercept? And how do you know where to put stuff in the y equals mx plus b? Got it? You have options, many options for how you do this. You can do it on a Google presentation, Google slide. You can do it on a Google Doc. You can do it on a colorful piece of paper, on a white piece of paper, on a piece of graph paper, or on a poster. You might be confused. You might think these are calendars. These are not calendars. They are pre-cut poster papers that I got for free in 2019. It was a great year for free poster paper, courtesy of the U.S. Air Force and Navy. All right, ready, set, go.